Okay, I'm going to show you what wintertime looks like in our pastures here in northern Wisconsin. This time of year, today is December 15th, and I just got done putting out some big round bales over here. We'll go over there where we're going to be doing our bale grazing this winter. I'm starting out here where our winter water tank is, and as you can see, it's two rubberized tanks, one inside the other, with foam insulation between them, and a cover with foam. There's a heater, and then the water source is my brother's house up here, and we have collapsible hose in a 5-gallon pail, 150 feet of hose in the pail, so we can run the water out here without carrying buckets. Oh man, it's really slick, and I have a video up about that on our YouTube page. Anyway, I wanted to start out here where the water is, and then here's the gang. We just 3 days ago got 4 newly weaned calves. We tend to have 8 at a time. We've got some yearlings here. The red ones are yearlings, so they'll be going off to the butcher in October, next October, and the other guys we'll have with us for two more years. We butcher in October because we want to make sure that our steers are finished on fresh grass. We don't want them finished on hay. If they get finished on hay, the finish isn't as good. So here's the gang. There's the bale they're working on. Here's the newbies, just cute as can be. We had them confined in our corral up until this morning, and then we let them go. And when they met, it was completely uneventful. They're actually from the same herd. We get these steers from a friend of ours who's involved in the grazing network with me, and yeah, these guys they're all connected. They're genetically, so it's red black Angus crosses, and it just so happens that the ones we got last year are all red, and the ones that Lynn gave us this year, didn't give us, we bought from Lynn this year, are all black. So here's where we've been kind of easing the bales into them, but now we're taking advantage of a warm spell to I placed all the bales way over there. We'll get over there, you can see them. Another thing to note here is we do have swales and woody perennials along here, so we're doing water capture and redistribution. So this is catching everything from the crest of a hill just to my left, and you can see down here a valley with a faraway swale and a closer swale. So we are capturing snow melt and big storm events and spreading the water out, soaking it in the ground. Boy, you guys look good. Look at you. Look at you. So they're totally chill. It's 40 degrees here today. It's 15th of December. This is way above normal. It's been cold prior to this, but right now everybody's just as happy as can be. So this is where they hang out in the wintertime. We used to let them go and had a little bit of room for them to go in a barn here. Then decided we needed to use the barn for tools and hay, so we built a corral, and I'll show you that. So this is kind of their turf in the wintertime. They get to come down here. This is their favorite spot to be. This wall is facing south, so it warms up. Unless the wind's coming from the wrong way, they will be right against that wall whenever it's really cold. All they need to do is get out of the wind. So we learned that, and that's what we decided to do. Here's the other bales. They can't get into these bales. We won't need these until spring. Actually, I kind of did the calculations, and we've got enough hay here, in theory, depending on how the winter is, to get them all the way into July with the hay that's here. So we won't be touching this until spring, and it'd be nice if we had some left over, but we'll just see. So here's this is the hay barn tool shed, and in the front here we've got a sliding door right there, where we use this to load them out in the fall when they go to Van Meters in Luck. It just works slick as a whistle. Again, over here you can see the bales over here, and the back of the shed here is where they get in out of the wind. So we got this here, and because we just had the little guys in here for a couple of days adjusting, we put a bale in here. We had water in here. Yeah, this is all they need to get out of the wind, and they love it in here when the gales are howling. So they access this through the back opening door right here, and then again here's where we just yesterday and today pre-positioned the bales for bale grazing. The reason you want to bale graze is to add fertility to your pasture or your hayfield. A lot of people put bales in a hayfield because you're always just taking stuff out of a hayfield. It's pretty rare that you have to, because it's hay and it's not fenced in until like wintertime, specifically for this bale grazing. You add a lot of fertility into the areas where you're grazing, and the peak of this hill here is one of the least fertile places in our pasture out in front, which is why we are very specifically targeting this area this winter. So again, here's another swale here, and I want to show you something that we came up with to help them access the bales easily. We kind of think this is clever. Previously in the winter, when we had some big round bales, we would put the fiberglass posts in the ground early, and then put the polywire in it. And the problem with that was when you started letting them into the bales, the fence posts were stuck in the ground, and then they'd break them. So we thought, how can we do this and be able to get the fence posts in and out? Well, here's what we did: is coming off of the side paddock fences and just sticking a fence post right into the bale on on this side. The thatch side is too thick. I've tried driving them in there, and you just can't get them in. They won't go because it's so tight. But you can get them in to the end. So by doing this, we've got our bales pre-positioned, and we can let them into one bale at a time just by hooking the polywire onto the side of the paddock, the side fences, and then sticking it into here. So so far this is working. We had some bales that were in an area where they could get to, and we had to use this to protect the bales, and it worked for the most part. You can see they kind of got it this one, but that's before we figured out the whole system. And then we move our polywire very simply, just polywire in a 5-gallon pail, and it's just as easy as can be. So this is how we let them into one bale at a time. And then over here again, I'll just show you, we just got done pre-positioning these bales. This will, as far as I've figured out, get us through into actually July. So we should have plenty of hay here for the 8 steers that we have. So there's a fence down at that end and a fence at this end, and so yeah, we'll use just poly wire across where the fencing is, and then we'll let them into one bale at a time. If you turn them on their side, I should have talked about that in the back over where I have one turned on its side. If you turn them on their side, they'll push these down this hill. They will absolutely play with it, and they've already done that with one bale in another place. They will roll them down the hill and then just unwind and go over the fences. So we're going to put these flat side down, and then if you have netting, you cut the netting like halfway and peel it down, and it holds the bale in place more if you don't have bale rings. We have twine, so with the twine we cut the top of the bale off, again about halfway down, leave the bottom intact, and it keeps everything from getting spread out too much right away. So that's a good way to feed a bale out and not have them sleeping in it and laying in it as much as they like to. So here, here's our pattern of bales, and that's what I've got for you this afternoon. It's seriously way more beautiful than it should be. We'll take it. Kind of going in the sun here, but there's looking at steers from the ridge on this side. I love coming out to the office. I just can't believe I get to do this like for a living. So that's what I got, is bale grazing, pre-positioning bales, figuring out how to use your poly wire to let them in just to one bale at a time, and that's how we bale graze up here in northern Wisconsin. I hope this is helpful. Let us know if you have any comments. Have a good day. That's it.